Time to go home.
I'm a big fan of beta and cut content restoration mods, and Spec Ops has been long overdue for a full-scale one. I've dabbled in some smaller projects like that, with restoring weapon models and textures and even characters to a degree, but this is an attempt to make something that completely captures the vibes of the 2010 era of the game. Beta Reclamation is all about bringing Spec Ops back to what it most likely would have played like and looked like in that era of development. And a lot of that is thanks to the discoveries made about the 2010 multiplayer beta. So let's talk about Beta Reclamation. What all is it going to change? How's the game going to feel compared to the final version? How does it compare to my other large-scale mods for Spec Ops? For starters, Beta Reclamation affects campaign and co-op. It's not going to affect multiplayer outside of some icon changes. I can't restore the 2010 multiplayer classes, but I can restore a lot of other things about the game. Plus, nobody really plays multiplayer, so it would be a time sink to look into that. The big thing is how it's going to play. Thanks to the localization files and the configuration files of the 2010 multiplayer beta, we have a good idea of what the stats for the weapons would have been for single player. Not just that, but the briefings for single player, the menu icons and previews for single player, the descriptions, achievements even, what the weapons were called. There's a lot to work with, and a lot to restore. It's taken some time to piece all this together. The mod's been in the works for several months now. It's just that in late November, I felt like I'd gotten enough done on it to do a proper reveal. In some ways, it's going to feel easier, and in other ways, it's going to be tougher. I'd say for the campaign, you can expect this to prioritize good accuracy and being willing to change weapons on the fly as situations call for it. The story won't change. That's the bad news. I can't bring back the cut Radio Man 1 level, aka the Up the Dune level. There's no way for me to do that I know of. And we don't have the files for it anyway, but a lot of work with Blender and, of course, the classic UPK Explorer have opened up good opportunities, so all of the beta guns are coming back. All their original designs, so the M4 with a holographic sight, the M32 MGL with a scope, even if the scope doesn't function, the FAMAS without a scope, with its scope function removed.
Stand up, ground and fight! RPG! Throw it, sticky 60 meters! Focus your fire! Okay, I'm on him!
There's a lot of ammo that you'll be finding. You won't be running out of ammo, and that one loading screen tip has been changed accordingly. It's a trade-off. You'll be able to carry a lot and find a lot. I'm running off what the beta stats have, so it might seem strange, but I'm trying to be faithful to how the balance of 2010 would have been. Enemies are tougher, but so are you. Guns also have less effective range overall. What this means is that you should definitely go for headshots, definitely team up with your squad. Squad commands are essential for taking down some enemies. You don't necessarily have to do it all the time, but you can't just carry things yourself. So like ordering the squad to help you with the hostage situation in the first chapter, that's a good way to handle it. The shotguns, unfortunately, are not as useful thanks to this range reduction, since they already had reduced range in the base game. But, they're still viable, they're still usable. You can get some good use out of them in the very close-quartered sections of the game. Just anything in medium range and beyond, you're better off changing weapons. Headshots can still be potentially lethal, even when you're in the very light red range of crosshair. It's just a matter of prioritizing. Some guns are buffed through this, some are nerfed, and some are just turned into side grades. You'll notice these changes in big ways, like with the Scout Tactical, which has double the magazine size of the retail version. And it will encourage you to just pop heads as much as possible. The range on it makes it much more of a viable weapon to carry, to the point where it's probably one of the better weapons in the mod from the times I've playtested it. Enemy designs can vary too, same with characters. You've seen the screenshots, the gameplay. You know Lugo's face kind of looks strange, but that was his design in the files, so I'm bringing it in unaltered. And I'm going to be tweaking it for Lugo's bloodied appearance in Chapter 13. Adams actually uses his original model from the 2010 beta. Devil Dwarf helped me out with that. He was the one to pour it into the final game. Walker's was tricky because his model has also been ported over, but his issues are tougher to ignore. The solution I came up with was keep his face texture the same, since it's pretty applicable. It didn't really need much editing to fit, and to edit his body textures accordingly to make them fit as close to the 2010 equivalent as possible. And since in the preview images throughout the 2010 beta, Walker still appears the same, that's also happening here. Aside from the subtle details like the sweat and the hints of bruising on his face and arms, you aren't really going to notice him getting more beat up as the campaign progresses.
Well done, Walker. You've done what the storm could not. Destroyed the damn 33rd. Do you feel like a hero yet? Please, come in.
But on that note, other characters have changes. The enemies you'll encounter from Conrad can sometimes appear much differently. You'll notice this especially with the elites, which take the place of Zulu's squad. They also appear in the epilogue instead of Falcon 1 because, again, in the preview images, that's what showed up. They were in regular desert Humvees confronting Walker. I don't know why. I have theories about that, but nothing concrete that I can pin it on. The first and fifth enemies of the regular 33rd, I actually do have their original textures from the beta, and they've been applied accordingly. So the fifth enemy has that weird dripping face paint instead of the stripes, and the first one has sunburned skin and darker hair. The other enemies have just been tweaked and retextured based on the screenshots I could find. They didn't have huge differences from what I could tell, except for the Heavy's visor. It's a little strange, but texture kind of looks like the flag of France, and that's what I edited to look like accordingly. Make of that what you will. Also, Castovan is a different appearance. Gould's appearance is slightly different, same with Riggs. Mostly Castavan's different because of using what was most likely Faree's body texture back when he was meant to be in Castavan's place. As for the other elephants in the room, Conrad is still going to be dead in the story. I can't change that. I can't change dialogue. There might be ways to change music, but I need to look into the older versions of UPK Explorer that work with Devil Dwarf's tools. Big thing I'm interested in on the side is I'm trying to tweak the co-op levels to be kind of like Exodus. I'm having to really cut corners to work around the one texture limit per character, but I've done a decent job of recreating Gould and Riggs. Balance changes, UI, everything of that sort will be carried over. Speaking of the UI, I can't bring back the numeric ammo counter, but I can bring back other stuff. A lot of the icons are back. This includes the squad command ones. The weapons, again, have their name changes. Some weapon icons weren't in the multiplayer beta, at least not that I could extract, so I improvised and ended up creating some decent equivalents for the remaining guns. I think they fit pretty closely alongside them. And also the difficulty icons from the beta have been added, same with the difficulty names and descriptions. The last ones are a little off-center, but I ran out of room on their texture sheets, so it is what it is. As for what you can expect in terms of a release, I'd say late December. On the current track I'm going at, I am hoping to have this out by the 31st. Maybe earlier, but I'm on pace to achieve that. Big focus right now has been using the textures from the 2010 beta, applying them to the environments for the final game. Part of my strategy has been to remove the post-processing to make it look closer to the color correction of the 2010 beta. That has worked pretty well, but I wanted to go a step further and change the level textures as well, at least as many as I could, since there aren't always equivalents. And that has looked pretty nice, and they've added some smaller details to bring it back to that darker grittiness of the beta.
Fire in the hole!
There's also Chapter 7. I did a poll on my channel about a month back, and you guys were pretty open about wanting the insurgents to appear in Chapter 7, like they do in the trailers, instead of having the 33rd appear like they do in the E3 presentation. So that's what I'll be doing. I've been thinking maybe I'll have Furry show up in place of the interrogator, but we'll see.
Stand back! I kill him!
Shit, got a hostage situation.
Alright, calm down and let him go.
Anyway, that was my rambling about Beta Reclamation mod. I am shocked at the attention it's gotten from ModDB. They featured it on their Twitter, on their front page, and they put it on the quarterly mods of the year. I didn't expect that at all, but I'm really flattered. I didn't think that a mod for Spec Ops would mean that much to them, but hey, thank you. I'm really touched, and I'm flattered that modding for this game is getting recognition. Maybe it'll get more people involved. I've made guides about it, and other people have done some great discoveries too. Core thing is finish the texture replacements, finish adding the insurgents to Chapter 7, do some more playtesting to make sure everything's smooth, and eventually release it on ModDB. And then after that it'll be on Nexus mods. Probably not long after. I just start out with ModDB since I already have the framework set up there.
I thought you said you knew him.
Thought I did.
That's a bold statement. You claim you knew me.
When I served under him in Kabul, he was an honorable man.
Because I saved your life? I've saved many lives, Captain. I've ended even more.
Thanks for listening, you guys, and thanks for tuning in to the development of Spec Ops Beta Reclamation mod. Take care.